yesterday, and today three topics are there that we are going to see. Practical implementation of linear regression I will show you, so you'll better understand how linear regression can be actually implemented in real life. Second, we will see the classification. What do you mean by classification? And the new base classifier is there. How it is implemented in classification? Many topics are there that we need to understand step by step. That we will see. So let's start with the first part, the linear regression. Linear regression with the help of the practical implementation. How it is done. So let's revise the topic of regression here. What we do, we are having the relationship between two variables linearly connected by the method like x is incrementing, along with that y is also incrementing, or x incrementing, y is decrementing, like that kind of relationship, that what we call as a linear regression. So just in few one practical, I'll show you how to perform the respective operation step by step. Let me start my notebook, Jupyter notebook. I'll show one data set also to you, and with that we just can perform the operation of building the model. So just a minute. Now see, let's say I'm having a data set something like this. Salary data set I'm having. So where salary experience of the person, employee, and its respective salary is given there in it. So as we can understand, we can identify that salary and experience are linearly connected. It means that as salary improves, experience increases, salary will also increase proportionally. See that one. This is my data set. I've taken from one originally available data set. Two columns I extracted only. Experience, and this is salary. Check this. So only 30 entries are present in it. This one. Okay. And we can identify that their relationship that they carry. Even we can make use of some correlation matrix also that we have seen, and with the help of this correlation matrix we can identify there's a correlation present between them or not. Is it there? Then how much is that? Collinearity and the proportionality, both we will check, and we'll proceed further to build the respective model and then check how the difference is present. So let's go to the practical applications. I'm creating a new file of Python here. We'll read it and then we'll build the model of linear regression by using the already defined libraries here. For example, first of all, I need to import it. See, so let's import CSV file. Yeah, salary.c. This is your CSV file, and if you check this file, see this. First 5 entries I just shown here: salary and experience. Now, whenever any kind of model, data model that we are going to create, so regression based model, if I want, or classification based model, we have to provide the data input output fashion separately. So I need to separate that data. So what I'll do, in X I will take the data in the form like the first year's experience. Okay, and in Y I'll take the data salary. See this. So if you check this, see the X like this, okay, and then the Y like this. Okay, so they are separated. One more thing to know, that the data set that you are giving as input to any machine learning algorithm, any algorithm basically, it should be in a two-dimensional format. So to do this one, there is one modification that I want to do. Like I'm converting that into array format like this, and then from array format I will convert it into two-dimensional format. So there's a function called as reshape, which is used to do this operation, -1 1. And if you check this, the 2D data, something like that, is created here. One column and 30 rows are there. Total 30 rows are present in this data set that we can observe now. Okay, fine. Now I want to build the model, but before building the model, I just want to see that the data is linearly connected or not. So we'll use visualization technique. See, so I'll plot using the scatter plot. So let's see the scatter plot, x against y, and you can observe this now. Experience on the x-axis, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till 10 is given, and on y-axis I have given the salaries. See, now linear regression will find a perfect line which will summarize all the points present there, and we will have a deviations also. That deviation is called as residual error. Okay, so x-axis I have experience, on y-axis I have the salaries of the respective persons, okay, whose data is presented over here. Get it? So you can check it is linearly connected. And one more thing, by using the correlation function, I can find it like data frame dot corr. See this one. This is, I'm using the Pearson correlation that we have seen in correlation concept of statistics. Now see, salary and experience are connected to each other by 98%. It means that positively linear and proportional 98%. Fine. Getting, so they are linearly connected. That's why both we can try here. We can check it. And one more thing to know, the dependent variable is salary, not experience, because experience decides salary, salary doesn't decide experience. Fine. So dependent variable is salary, not the experience. Now let's build the model. So the idea of linear regression that we have seen, and now I'm going to implement with the help of an algorithm here. Let's see that algorithm. So from sklearn, so there is a sub package called a linear model. So inside a linear model, we have the class of linear regression. Okay, see this linear regression. I'm creating the object of it, okay, like this, and after that I will train the algorithm with given data. We have seen the training, train the algorithm. So training is applying the data to the algorithm, just like machine learning requires. We'll apply that data and then linear model will be created. So to do this one, I'm having a function fit x comma y. Now see this one, linear regression object is created, and now what we will do, we'll predict the data, we'll do the predictions on the given data. Okay, now we know the y is equal to mx plus c. M is the slope, c is the intercept. If you want to see this value which are calculated by that, will be like reg dot intercept. This is the intercept of the given data, and reg dot coef, that is the slope of that data. It is 9411 and intercept is 26,147 created by that. Okay, now what we will do, I will apply the same x input to it and generate the result that will be perfectly linear, because they follow the equation y is equal to mx plus c. Let's say y predicted y is equal to reg dot predict. Okay, one more thing, for example, model is created, it's okay. It's used in predictive analytics. Basically, predictive analytics means once you devise the machine learning model, then I can use it to do the predictions, like new experience is given, so we can predict new salary. See, predict, let's say 10 years was the maximum, and I want to predict the salary of person who is having 15 years experience. You can observe the data set here, it contains only till 10 years. Now after model building, I can do the prediction. This is called a predictive analytics, and linear regression is coming under the supervised learning data model. See, 15 is 1,67,000. If I want to be 18, so 1,95,000. Okay, 25, 2,61,000. Like, so that line will grow above. So predictive analytics is done by this method. This is a regression algorithm that are used. And now see, if you want to see the perfect line of fit, so what I'll do, I'll apply the same data to the algorithm reg dot predict x value I'll apply, and I will predict the respective y values from there. Okay, so that y pred will be perfectly linear because they are predicted by the model, by the formula, by the ideal value of m and c. But original data is not exactly linear, that we have seen in the scatter plot. Correct. Now if you want to compare them, so what we will do, let's say first of all I will plot the original data which we have seen, plt dot scatter. X and Y. This is your original data, and on that I want to fit after prediction same inputs are given and the predicted values are Y pred, that also I'll put. Let's say X and predicted X. Okay, let's change the color. See. The red one is predicted by algorithm and the blue one originally data set is having there. See, almost averaging. And one more thing, the prediction are done on line. See, I want about 20, 30, the line will grow till any point. So where that experience is matching for salary, that salary will be extracted from it. Fine. So this is the way which is followed to create the linear regression modeling. OLS regression, gradient descent is there, regularization techniques are, many are there, which are used to perform the linear models. So regressions is created by that. This is how it's possible. We have seen predictive analytics, we have seen the graphical representation of the similar example also. Okay, so this is how linear regression actually can be done. So many different variants are possible in linear regression also, that also we can use to perform the predictions on the given data. Okay, even you can check the accuracy score of it also. This is our score. How accurate is that? That is 96.25% accurate. The data set that we have, score functions find that. Even a few more regression evaluation methods are there. They are called as mean squared error, mean absolute error, R2 score. They are present to perform the operation of finding the evaluation of regression kind of algorithms there. Fine. Okay, this is what the regression is. Now let's go for the second part, that's called the classification. In classification, okay, so we'll go in theoretical details. We'll see theoretical details of the classification methods here. First of all, we have started with the k-means clustering algorithm, association rule. They are coming under the unsupervised learning, okay, which is having only rules and patterns are created by that particular methods. But in case of classification algorithms, classification and regression algorithm, they are coming under the supervised learning. These algorithms are used to do the predictions. They are used to do the predictive analytics on the given data. That's why they are called as the supervised learning. Now let's see in detail classification. What is classification and how they are evaluated step by step. So classification is the process of categorizing a given set of data into classes. Given set of data into classes. It can be performed on both structured and unstructured data. We are expecting the output as a class. Remember, that is what we have, either 0 1 or 1 2 3 or 1 to 10, A B C D, like any kind of classes can be presented there. This process starts with the predicting class of given data point. The classes are often referred as target, label, or categories. Target or label or category, these three names are there that we'll have to the output variables. So classification predictive modeling is a task of approximating the mapping function from input variable to discrete output variables. Input and output, discrete variable, discrete means some set of variables are there. And the main goal is to identify which class or category the new data point will fall into, which class it will go. For example, I am having a data set for diabetes prediction. So classification will identify that whether you are having diabetes or not. Take this example. A mail received in your mailbox is spam mail or not spam mail. So based on the features extracted, we'll predict that whether the mail is spam mail or not spam mail, that we can find. So these kind of applications are coming under the category of classifications. Let's talk about classification, spam and not spam. Go into about examples like heart disease detection that can be identified as a classification problem. Okay, so two classes, heart disease is present or not present, like, okay, yes or no, true or false, like that kind of things are possible to check with the help of algorithm, which is called as classification. The classifier in this case needs a training data to understand the given input variable related to the class. Training data we require to train the algorithm. like the algorithm that we have trained. Just that's how the algorithm got trained. Training data to understand, to build the model. And once the classifier is trained accurately, it can be used to detect where her disease is present or not, yes or no. So we will provide a data set which contains few yes and few no. Algorithm will learn that, will build a model, and accordingly will do the predictions on new data. Since classification type of supervised learning, even the targets are also provided with the input data. So input and output both are given. What relationship is there between input and output? That will be found by supervised learning algorithms, classification algorithm basically, and then model will be used to do the predictions on that. In classification system, there are some basic terminologies used by the algorithm. They are called as, first terminology is classifier. Okay, it's an algorithm that is used to map the input data to specific category. It's called as classifier. Okay, just like algorithm that we have used was regressor. Now it is classifier. Second is model, classification model. The model predict or draw a conclusion to input data given to training. It will predict the class or category for the data. Model means structure, statistical model, which is created with the help of the data, called as classification model. The third, feature and label. Feature is the input variable to the classifier. Feature is an individual measurable property of phenomenon being observed. Input data is called as feature and output data is called as label. Okay, feature and label. Now, there are two different kind of learners present. Before proceeding that, I'll show few of the data set which are coming under the classification categories. Let's see that. For example, I'm having a data set with me which is having input output variables. Okay, let's say this one. These are informations. The nodes are scanned by the node scanning machine, and four image properties that they have extracted. Based on that, they decide the class of it. So these are the input variables. And class is the variable. You can see 0 and 1 are possible there. Whether the node is fake or not fake. So fake nodes are termed as 0, not fake nodes are termed as 1. And based on that, we'll devise a classifier, will perfectly create all of it. This is a simple example. Or if you go to check this one, wine.csv I have. In this example, I am identifying the quality of wines. Okay, this is the quality. See, multiple different properties of wine are there: fixed acidity, critic acidity, chlorides, sulfuric dioxide density, pH level, and based on that is the output predicted. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the properties, qualities of wine. Wine categories, wine qualities are present. That we can see in this particular column. Okay, let's see one more. The weather data set. A player is playing a game like golf game. Data set is that whenever he goes to the ground, there are some different kind of atmospheric situations are there which are shown over here, like type of that, what type of atmosphere is present, what's the temperature, what's the condition. Okay, when whether it is hot, cool or mild, or like we have humidity, or what is this, something. Then we have the windy, whether the wind is present or not. Based on that, we have a decision. So when these situations are there, then what you have decided, yes or no, whether you have played the game or not played the game, that is what decision is there. Okay, so this output variable, these are the input variables are called as features, and output variables are called as the label. Okay, remember. So whenever we are building the model of classification, it's required to know what is input and what is output. Just the case that we have seen for the regression algorithms here. Okay, so in classification system, there are two different kind of learner algorithms are present. Learning methodologies are used. The method that classification algorithm follows to learn something from it is called as a learner algorithm. So two algorithms are there which are learner algorithm. The first algorithm is lazy learner. Second is eager learner. So lazy learner means they simply store the training data into the model and wait until the testing data appears. Okay. The classification done by using most related data in the stored training data means data is present, it will directly store it. No model is created. Directly copy the data. And at the time of prediction, the data will be directly used. Generally, what happens in machine learning? Machine learning creates a data model from the data. Model from the data. And after that, data is not used. After that, data will not be used onwards. Remember. So in such cases, in lazy learner, data will be used. Okay, so model is not created, it's directly using a data, and that data will be used for predictive analytics. Lazy learner. Inverse to that, we have another kind of learning methodology called as eager learners. Eager learner construct a classification model based on the given training data. Before getting the data prediction, they create the model, and after model is created, data will not be in use. What similarity or the relationship that input and output are having, that will be identified, and based on that, eager learners create the data model. So it must be able to commit a single hypothesis. Hypothesis means the model, basically the what we say, equation which is present in that, that is called as hypothesis. That hypothesis is created, and this is possible to have same hypothesis for all the data set present inside it. Okay, that is called as the eager learner. So due to this, they take a lot of time in training than prediction. Like decision tree, Naive Bayes, ANN, these three algorithms we have in the syllabus, they are coming under the eager learners. And lazy learner, no lazy learner is there. Lazy learner is KNN algorithm, which is not there. But that's also one of the great algorithm to do the classification of the data. Now, there are four different ways by which you can classify, that we can have the classification methodologies here. Four type of classification algorithms are present. Binary classification, multi-class, multi-label, and imbalanced. Okay, say one by one. And there is one more way, that what kind of model you use, based on that you are having two algorithms now, linear model and non-linear model. In linear model, like logistic regression, support vector machine, these two algorithms are then linear modeling. And non-linear modeling, we have k nearest neighbors, kernel support vector machines, Naive Bayes, decision tree algorithm, random forest algorithm. Okay, so they are coming under the category of non-linear modeling. Okay, fine. So linear, non-linear, or we'll be having the binary, multi-class, multi-label, or imbalance. Just like linear regression we have seen. Linear regression is a linear model. Same case, we can use special case of linear regression called a logistic regression, is used for classification data. Remember. Now, see one by one. The first is the binary classification. Binary classification means when we have to output expected from the data set, from the model, is called as binary classification, like spam and not spam, churn prediction, churn or not churn, or conversion prediction, you're buying or not buying, or just like notes, fake notes or not fake notes, whether you have to play or not to play. Like, so these kind of decision are taken with the help of the binary classification. Okay, typically binary classification tasks involve one class that is normal state and another class which is abnormal state. Yes, correct. 0 1. One normal, second yes or no, cancer detected, not detected, diabetes predicted, not predicted, your purchase, not purchase. Fine. One normal, another inverse of it, that is abnormal. Okay. For example, not spam is a normal state and spam is an abnormal state. Like cancer not detected is a normal state, cancer detected is abnormal state. Okay, so generally the normal state is designed by the label 0. If you are in future also, whenever you are going to learn new algorithms of machine learning for your honors course, try to remember that if you are comfortable currently with this algorithm, in future it will be very easy to understand these common topics which I'm explaining over here. Everywhere same concepts are used. Normal means class 0. 0 means normal. 0 means why it's normal? Because 0 is success. Might be knowing if you're returning 0 from the program, it's called a success. That's why it is normal. And class with abnormal is assigned a label 1. Okay. So it is common to model a binary classification task with the model that predict Bernoulli probability distribution for each example. Bernoulli distribution is there. That time binary classifications are used. See, two algorithms are there which are used for that task. Commonly, yeah, is focusing on that support vector machine and logistic regression. They are uh, very well perfect working on binary classification commonly. See, but others also which are used for multi-class, they are used for also binary classification, like logistic regression algorithm, k nearest neighbor, knn algorithm, decision tree algorithm. So these algorithms, svm, newbase, these algorithms are used for binary classification. Okay, out of that, logistic regression is special binary classification. Okay, now this is important to understand and know. How do we evaluate from our practical point of view? This concept is very important. Practical number 3, evaluation of binary classifier. So this is very interesting to see, and almost all the not binary only, multi-class classifiers also evaluated by the same method. There are various metrics which are used to measure the performance of a classifier or a predictor variable. Different fields with different references to specific metrics due to the different goals that's possibility have. So in general, we use two measures called as sensitivity and specificity. Sensitivity and specificity, these two measures are used to perform the operations of evaluation of a classifier. Okay, evaluation of a classifier that we can do by these particular methods. Let's see, how do we know that this algorithm is correct or this algorithm is perfectly working? So let's say, given a classification of specific data set, there are 4 combinations are possible: true positive, true negative, false positive, and false negative. This way that we can find. And this concept we call as the confusion matrix. With the help of confusion matrix, accuracy of a classifier can be identified. So in the field of machine learning, specifically the problem of statistical classification, a confusion matrix, which is known as error matrix, is a specific table layout that allows visualization of performance of algorithm, typically classification. Each row of matrix represents the instances in a predicted class. Okay, predicted class, while each column represents the instances in actual class. Or inverse may be possible. Let's take an example, then we'll take it. See, now we have created one classification model with us. Okay, program is predictive modeling classification is done, by which you are going to predict a class. Let's say I am creating a model, and in that I'm predicting whether that image is of dog image or cat image. Dog image or cat image. I have built the classifier. Now I want to test it. Correct. So I will test with the help of, let's say, 13 pictures are there, and that 13 picture I will give as input to this classification algorithm, and it will check that whether the result generated by that is matching or not matching. Let's see how it is done. So for example, 13 different images are there. Out of that, first 8 are cats and remaining 5 are dogs. These are the cats, 8, and 5 are the dogs that I am going to apply to the algorithm to check the accuracy of that classifier, how perfectly it's working. Means I am giving cat image and algorithm predicting cat or not. Correct. I am giving dog's image and algorithm predicting dog or not. That I am going to check here. Okay. So assume that, so this is my input, 13 inputs are there. I am already having this data. I will apply that features of cats and features of dogs for predictions. So classifier distinguishes between the cats and dog is trained. We take 13 pictures, new pictures, remember, and run them through a classifier, then classifier makes 8 accurate predictions like this. First picture was of cat, but algorithm predicted dog. Predictions, algorithms output. Second picture was cat, algorithm predicted dog. Third, cat, algorithm predicted dog. Next, cat predicted cat. Cat predicted cat. Cat predicted cat. Here also cat predicted cat. Cat predicted cat. Correct. This is input and this is output. Whatever algorithm is, it is predicting it. Okay, now done. Now dog. 5 dogs are there. This dog is predicted as dog. This dog, dog. This dog, dog. But this dog, these 2 dogs are predicted as the cats, like this. So you can find now misclassifications are there. How many? 5. Here 3 cats are predicted as the dogs, and these 2 cats are these 2 dogs are predicted as cat. 5 predictions out of 13 are wrong by the algorithm is created already. But new unknown values I am giving as input, unknown values, and that unknown values are this, and we are predicting the class according to that unknown values here. Find. Getting? So now confusion matrix will be showing the summary of all. How many are matching? How many are not matching? Check it out. This is your confusion matrix. Now how it is done? How many actual are there? 8 cat and 5 dogs are there. Okay, 8 cats and the 5 dogs are there. 8 cat actual classes, and out of 8, the problem. Yeah, out of 8, 5 cat are predicted as cat. Okay, and 3 cat are predicted as dog. This is a predicted class. It will be something like this. Okay, and for dogs also, dog, 2 dog out of 13 predicted as cat, and 3 dogs are predicted as dogs. What is the accuracy? 5 plus 8 out of 13 are matching. Algorithm predicted results out of 13 are matching, 5 are wrong. Is for cat class is 5 are true negative. That true. Second these are false positive and these 3 are false negatives. Fine. This is what the concept is. And generally we have to focus on the true values. So how many true values are there out of all? So out of 13, true values are 8. Okay, so 8 divided by 13 into 100, that is the accuracy score of this particular algorithm is, that is called as confusion matrix. That will summarize the things that we can find, and confusion matrix will be seen by some methods here. I'll show you few more things by which you can identify the characterization of classification algorithm. Let's see, for example, if I go here in this data. So for example, actual values which we have seen something like this: 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8, and this one actual, and then we have predicted, for example. Okay, this is evaluation of classification I'm talking about. Something like that. This data is presented here. Correct? 0 0 0 1 1 5 1 are there. Sorry. Now, see this. Actual and predicted by algorithm, where the mismatches are there, that will be identified. So see, I'll show you the confusion matrix created for this. Actual and predicted. Length is not matching. I think 12, 13 and 12 are there. 0, 0, 0. Oh, three zeros are here. See, it's inverse actually. Predicted on this side and actual are on this side. So 3 plus 5 are matching. 3 plus 5 are matching. 8. That will be shown as a confusion matrix there. Fine. This is called the concept of evaluation. Many more evaluation concepts are there. When we see the practical concept that I will explain, how do I use the F1 score or harmonic mean of it. This is how the evaluation algorithm created, but whether it's working correctly or not, that we can find with the help of the confusion matrix concept over here. Now, the second kind of classification technique is multi-class classification. Okay, sorry for the interrupt again. It was disconnected. Just I'll share the screen again. So in binary classification, we have two classes. In multi-class, we have a set of classes out of it where it is matching that we can find. They belonging to one or a range of classes. Whether that picture is of dog, cat, rabbit, horse, like it's called a multi-class classification. Okay, so number of class labels may vary large on some problems. For example, the model may predict photo as a belonging to some thousands of 10,000s of faces out of all you will find, or prediction of words, OCR, that's I talked about. So this is how multiple outputs are there. Out of it, which is the most suitable predicted output calculated that we can use it here. Many algorithms are used for binary classification that can be used for the multi-class classification also, just like k nearest neighbor, decision tree, new Bayes, random forest, gradient boosting. So these algorithms are used for the operation of multi-class classification. Many, okay, that's are possible there. Now, in multi-class, there are involved with several strategies fitting multiple binary classification models. That's what we call a class versus all, one versus rest, okay, and one versus one. It fits for one binary classification model for each class versus others, and one versus one means one binary class for other pair of classes that are present. Okay, so like logistic regression and support vector machine are having specialized format which are used to uh, apply them for multi-class classification modeling there. Connected to that, we have third method is multi-label classification. This is a kind of special algorithm where multiple outputs are generated. Multi-label refers to those classification that have two or more class labels, where one or more class labels may be predicted for each example. Consider example of a photo classification, where given photo may have multiple objects in the scene. Bicycle, apple, person, photo is one. Under that we have multiple different objects present, multiple outputs are there. This is called as multi-label classification, remember. So this is unlike binary classifications. Multi-class classification where the class predicted for each of the example, remember. Okay, that's how it's possible. And the fourth category is called as imbalanced classification. Imbalanced classification refers to classification task where the number of example in each class is unequally distributed. Unequal are there. Now, see, I want to build a spam and not spam. So at least to get the insights, means to know, to learn from that model, I should have equal number of samples, maybe 30, 70, also okay. That 30 mail are spam and 70 are not spam. So we can build the model based on such unequality. Generally, we prefer 50-50. If 5 are there, then 20-20-20-20. If 4 are there, 25-25-25-25. 2 are there, 50-50. Almost, not exact, almost. That we prefer to build. So training sample should be equally, should have equal categories of all the category that we are generating. But maybe it is possible that majority of example data set belong to normal class and minority are containing abnormal class. Fraud detection. Fraud detection. So in fraud detection, fraud is not commonly detected. Correct. I am having a data set where two outputs are possible: fraud detected, fraud not detected. Okay. Fraud detected, not detected. Fraud detected is not possible 50%. Fraud is detected to, see, for example, I am having a data set with me. There 2 lakh entries are there. 2 lakh. And out of 2 lakh entries, only 800 time fault is detected. Fraud is detected 800 times, 2 like 800. And remaining times, again almost 2 lakh times, fraud is not detected. And I want to build a classifier. See, it's complete imbalance. 0.3% data set is of one class and 99.7% data belongs to another class. This kind of concept is called as imbalance classification. Okay, so fraud detection is the best example of it. Even outlier detection, something outliers means, we have seen that outlier means the data which does not follow the properties of the crowd. They are something different from the original crowd. They are called as outliers. So outlier detection is also one of the example of imbalance classification. Or medical diagnosis. Every people is not detected with cancer. Correct. I'm doing cancer test, or let's say corona detections. Thousands of people are tested, then only they checks 20, 30, 40 are detected. Fine. And if you want to build a classifier to separate between the COVID-19 test, detected, not detected. So if 1,000 out of 1,000 only 30 are detected, so 3% only thing, 3% again 97% is there. Imbalanced data set. So to train the data well, we need to have balance of them. So two options are present in that. The first option is to apply data resampling techniques. Resampling. These problems are modeled as binary classification tasks, may require specialized technique, like the two things which are mentioned over here. Called as undersampling or oversampling. Undersampling means increase the class which is having less entries, or oversampling, sorry, undersampling means decrease the class which is having high entries, and oversampling means increase the class which contains low entries and make them balanced. This is called as the imbalance classification. So this is a pre-processing technique required there. We in the data science process, we haven't seen that, but we require that. This particular technique is required. Why we haven't seen that? Because some algorithm contain ability to perform the weightage. cost. See, they are called as cost sensitive classifications. Specialized algorithm, modeling algorithm may be used to pay more attention to the minority class. When fitting the model on training data set, such they are called as cost sensitive machine learning algorithms. Cost sensitive algorithms like cost sensitive logistic regression, cost sensitive decision trees, cost sensitive support vector machine. So these three algorithms are used for imbalanced classification, where there is no any balance present between the classes. Balance present? No. Imbalance classification. Special algorithms are required for that particular purpose. So these things that we require from the classification point of view, and to understand the concept of classification well, and then we'll proceed ahead of using this particular data by the classifier. We are given one classifier here, and that classifier is new Bayes classifier. Okay, so let's talk about it. I think when we have seen Bayesian theorem, that time itself I told about the new Bayes classifier. But now today we will see the practical implementation of it. Like try to understand what is the meaning of new Bayes classifier, which is given example, and the I think unit is ending here, and next unit first part is also classifier. Decision tree classifier is there, that also we will see step by step. Let's check it out. Yeah. So we have a new Bayes classifier. So let's see that implementation. First of all, we need to understand new Bayes classifier. We understood, I think, already, but this is a simple revision I will do. And then we will show practically how to employ this particular classifier in using Python programming language. Okay, so just a small revision. See, we have seen this algorithm, and we have found the probability of defective spanner is from which particular class. Okay, that's we have found. This probability are found by the concept of the new Bayes theorem. Sorry, Bayesian theorem. Now, let's see what we will do now. Just a minute. Okay. The thing is that now I want to perform the operation of prediction of something. Let's see a simple and perfect classification, which is, and why new Bayes they are taken. I think the concept is that new Bayes is the core classifier. Means it is used for classification only. Remaining other algorithm like decision tree can be used for classification also, regression also. Random forest used for classification also, regression also. SVM both. KNN both. New Bayes is a classifier which is a classifier only. It is not used for regression algorithms. Okay, okay, that's what we need to know. Now let's see. Let's have a revision of it. How this classifier actually perform the operations. Let's take an example of a data set. I'm having a data set with me where employees information is maintained. Okay, so two different classes we have. Some employees come to the office by driving a car, some comes to the office by walking. So these are the drivers which are having a car, and the red one are the walkers. Okay, they come to the office by walking. They come to the office by walking. That's what they are, walkers. And based on two feature means your input, label means output. Labels are two, driver and walker. Two possibilities are there. And features, age and salary. So based on the age and salary of that employee, we will be predicting the class, in which class a new employee will go. Correct? That is what the classification that we are going to make use of here. Revise our theorem, that is your Bayesian theorem is like this: P of A where B is equal to P of B, where A into P of A divided by P of B. Exactly. And now what my task is, I want to identify a new data point will belong to walker category. New data point is X. That I want to identify whether it is going to walker category or driver category. Okay, walker category is okay, but what is the probability of it? Driver category is also okay, but what is the probability of it? So whichever is having high probability, that is the result. Let's see. So for example, a new data point is present here. That's how I want to do the predictions with this one. That will go here. This is on boundary. That's why it's very interesting to find this class. So putting all together using the probability theorem, Bayesian probability theorem. So what we do, first of all, you have to find prior probability of walkers. Then we'll go for marginal likelihood. P of X means similar observations out of all. Then P of X walks, mean out of similar observation, how many walkers are there? That's called as likelihood. Then posterior probability. Posterior probability is your result, means whether that point will go to walker or driver. So for both, we will check the result, and based on that, we'll identify whether it will go to walker or it will go to the driver. So any one of that data set can be chosen from the given result. Okay, let's see. So step by step. First of all, we can check the driver's probability also, whether it will go in driver. So what is the probability of that be in driver? So we have to check probability being walker against probability of being driver. Okay, probability of being walker, probability being driver. So whichever is higher in that class, it will do the predictions of it. Now see, step 1, probability of walker, means total number of walkers divided by total observation that we have. Okay, how many walkers are there? 10 out of 30. That is P of walks, 10 by 30. Second, P of X, similar observation divided by total observation. So I am putting a circle, encircling it, circle is there. Total number of similar observations divided by total observations. Similar are 4 here, 4 similar are there, which are present around that X. Okay, divided by total are 30. Out of 30, 4 are similar. They are connected around it, similar. So 4 out of 30 are the similar observations. And the third, that is probability of similar observation. So in P of walkers, P of X when walks is something like this. Number of similar observation among those walk divided by total number of walkers. See, in the similar observation, how many are walkers? 3. And total walker are 10. So out of 10, 3 are similar to it. So 3 by 10 is the probability, this one, P of X when walks. Combine all together. In the Bayesian probability theorem, we have combined all together, and let's see. So probability of X being walker is this: 3 by 10 into 10 by 30 divided by 4 by 30 is equal to 0.75. So 75% is the probability of X being walker category. Now revise the rule of probability. Whatever event, how many events are there? 2. Walker, driver. If walker is 75%, then what about the driver? Obviously driver will be 25%. So if we combine them together, we got the result 1. Okay, if I combine together, then we will get the result 100% probability will be there. Getting it? So what's the probability that X will be in driver now? Put them together, all the values. See, 1 by 20, then into 20 by 30 divided by 4 by 30 equal to, I got 0.25 for this case. So probability of X being driver in drive category is 0.25. Correct. That's it. 0.75 versus 0.25, which is higher? Walk. So a new data point shown over there is in walker, that is red cross. Red cross category. It will be the Walker. This is how the predictions are done. Predictions on the respective algorithms using the new Bayes classifiers are possible using this particular mechanism. So this is what we call as the new Bayes classifier. There are some advantages that we are having. When assumption of independent predictor holds true, a new Bayes classifier performs better as compared to other models. Even it requires a small amount of training data to estimate the test data. So training time is very less. And this is core classifier. Only classification is possible by using new Bayes classifier. So it is easy to implement. And some disadvantages also there. So main imitation of new Bayes is assumption of independent predictors. So that's assumption that we are having over here. It's not actually required. And if a categorical variable has a category in the test data which is not observed in training data set, model will assign it to 0 probability. It's present in the testing data, but training it is not there. So probability will always 0. It may happen. That's the problem of all the probability based algorithms, not only for new Bayes. Every algorithm, the same thing are present and available with. Okay. So this is what your classification concept is, how exactly it is used, and how we are going to make use of this for further processing analytics. We'll stop today's session here. We'll not continue for 2 hours. Tomorrow we will see the practical implementation of this particular data. I think practical number 3 is there, so be ready with the practical that we will see with the help of algorithm that's mentioned over here. And we will start with the next unit also, the unit number 4, with another different algorithm, another different data analysis, data science algorithms are there that also will start tomorrow. So if you have any questions for today's session, so we can ask, or we'll stop this session. So tomorrow we'll see practical, so be ready with the same. If any questions are there, so you can ask.